Could objectifying each other be the cause of all suffering among us as human beings? This is a question to you as well as to me. In that if you're suffering, if you're finding that life is not what it is, could it be that because we see each other as objects of something or as something that will bring us or fulfill a lack in us, and we don't see each other as human beings, we don't see the creation, or we don't see the sacred person, the human being behind, before we can start making demands on them and attaching to them and making them objects of our satisfaction in different ways. It is very common now when people are coming together, different things make them attract each other. And then from that attraction, they choose whether they'll stay together on the journey. And then they start planning a family. And when they plan a family, it becomes a project. And then they will start coming up with who is supposed to do that, who is supposed to do what. A woman will be designated things or duties they're supposed to fulfill, and failure to do that, they will be deemed as failures, they'll be deemed as bad mothers, bad women, and the men will also be given the head of the home, provider, and if they fail in any way, regardless of the circumstances, then they're regarded as bad men and bad. And by doing this, we've broken down each other. We've broken ourselves down. Things that should be a blessing to us have come out to be curses, whereby people who once came together in love part when they are absolute enemies, to an extent of wanting to kill each other or killing one another or even becoming sick. If you've not yet found a partner, or if you're looking for a partner, it would be really nice to start looking at the values of that person. It would be really nice to first know you yourself. It would be really very good if you fulfill all your dreams by yourself, so that when you meet another, you're meeting them to share, but not as a way to patch up the different gaps you have in your life. The world as it is, the economy, the society is pulling us. It's like we are dogs on the leash, like they're just pulling us whatever they planned, and the government and everything. But we could do better if at least as one another we had humanity, we had pure, genuine love for one another. If, like, I'm a woman and I'm a mother, I love my children unconditionally and I have compassion for them. It's hard work, but I really find that I have to extend it. If we had the same compassion for the one we have for our blood relatives, like our mothers, our fathers, our children, and we extended that to other people, even our better halves or husbands or wives, maybe there would be a change. Because to make the world better and to stop all the suffering and to ensure that the future generations are happier than we are, we need to invest time to look into what we are doing wrong, to really take some time to observe and pay attention to see what is causing that. That is my view. What do you think about that? Could it be that when you start looking at another as the person who is meant to do whatever they've got to do to ensure that you're happy, whereas they actually don't know who you are, but they go by what you're telling them. And at one time, they will want to ask to know, but you wouldn't even be that honest and genuine to tell them. You will say, after all that time you've been with me, you can't even know this. That is one thing. And another factor to consider, looking at if you want to have a peaceful and joyful life, and also to ensure that those around you, especially the young ones, and maybe some who are still asleep and not aware, how about if by knowing yourself, you flock with those who are of the same feather? We are very unique individuals, but some people have the same likes. We tend to get attracted on the physical. And before we dig so much to know the emotional and the mental, we already too deep into whatever we've begun. If I'm to go by my background as a Black person, for us it is even something else, because there are just a few people who ask about the parenting that, oh, now let's plan for this. So it is last things first. And by the time you discover that, oh, maybe we are not that compatible, or maybe it was just some attraction, but it is not genuine, it was something to do with the hormones. So we should take time and know that these people we choose as partners, we are really bringing them into the closest that another human being can ever have, minus a child who grows in somebody's belly. Another closest person is the person you're intimate with. And you should really, for the love of yourself and the respect of yourself, take absolute caution to know the kind of person you're bringing next to you, because if they're not good for you, they might turn you into that which you fear to become. We all have the light and we all have the darkness. It seems that these days relationships are the cause of the darkness around us, because people have been wounded and no one is willing to take the responsibility, because each one is busy pointing on another. It's the Adam and Eve story. So if we are to make a stop to it, let's really live with people because we want and we are willing and we have chosen to live with them, not because we want them to fill gaps that they didn't dig up. It is so unfair to ourselves, and it is so unfair to those other people. We ought to love one another. We are loving human beings, and each one of us knows what love feels like, knows how love feels like. Each one knows how peace feels like. So as we wish that feeling on ourselves, may it be enough to include others and overflow on others. Much love and blessings.